Man, it's been a crazy week. It's all kind of combined. There's like two heads to the thing. So where I met Manny probably, I don't know, a month ago, right before Daytona, and I've always admired Samaritan's Feet from a distance. I just felt called to provide shoes for those in need. I've been to several mission trips to third world countries and just seen firsthand the overwhelming poverty that nobody in this room could ever imagine unless you go there and see it with your own eyes. So we went to Haiti last year, Kelly and I did, and we just saw the need there, and I've always kind of had this feeling, and my nickname's Super Shoe, so it's a natural fit to provide shoes, right? But I've never really had a shoe charity that I could fully buy into, and that was really pulling at my heartstrings until a good friend of mine, Lucas Beatty from Thrivent Financial, got to kind of ask him what was near and dear to my heart, and I said, man, I want to provide shoes. And he goes, well, you ever heard of Samaritan's Feet? I'm like, yeah. Didn't have a contact. He goes, well, I got Manny right here. Let me call him up. So he called him up the next day. What I thought was going to be a 30-minute meeting turned into probably a 3-hour, just sitting there talking about ways to use both platforms to just put shoes on feet. And, the other charities I've worked with, they're all great causes, but none of them were really God-centered. And I feel like that's why I'm so drawn to this is just God's in the center, and we're putting shoes on feet and telling people, Manny is. I'm just the vessel here. So then when I met Manny, it was actually perfect timing for their Hope Givers yearly campaign. So they found 10 groups of people or 10 people to be a Hope Giver. And when you sign up to be a Hope Giver, you commit to try to raise $20,000 from August to November. So Kelly and I figured, let's just jump on that boat and try to do that, right? So we signed up for that, and we were trying to figure out some very small ideas, just scraping the surface on how we could just raise some awareness, whether it be designing a pair of shoes we can auction off or doing a helmet, like thinking this big. And then about a week goes by, and we couldn't find a sponsor for the Watkins Glen race for the team, and I was trying to find some tire sponsors, round up $5-6 here and there, and it was about midnight one night, Monday, and it wasn't like a vision or like a dream. It was like this. I just had this thought pop in my head of a Samaritan's Feet car. I'm like, okay, well, how are you gonna pay for it? Because that's expensive, right? Racing is expensive. So then it was like clear as day. I felt like, hey, you got to call Archie and ask him if he would not pay your salary for a month if he would put Samaritan's Feet on the car, right? And my salary isn't what covers his nut to go to the racetrack, but he's sacrificing a lot of his end, but I'm sacrificing a lot of my end too. So I texted him at 11:30 at night, hey man, you up? And sure enough, pops right back up, hey, yep. So I call him, hey, this is what I'm thinking. This is the charity I'm working with, Samaritan's Feet. It's a great cause. And would you be open to doing this? This is what I'm thinking. And he said, sure, let's do it. And he was like, are you sure? I'm like, not really, but let's hang up before I change my mind. So, man, I went back to sleep and slept like a baby, and then it's just really been head on since then. And Kelly and I were at dinner the other night trying to figure out some ways to best push this thing. And she had the idea of whoever donates to our Hope Givers fundraising page, no matter if it's $1, $10, or $100, we're writing a name on the car. I'm like, that's a fantastic idea. So, I thought we'd raise, I don't know, $15,000, $20,000, $84,000 later, and 1,035 names that I last saw before I walked into the media center. And my hand's starting to cramp up a little bit because not only do I have to write it on the car, I've had to write it from the email to this little book that I'm keeping. So I didn't write every name on the car because I had to bring in some extra help from Mason and Ryan and a couple other guys to help write. But I have written every single name of those down in my book. And the little quick math, so the average spend was $80 on our page. And every name on the car is going to be putting shoes on the feet of 3 kids. So the 1,000 people that gave and sacrificed to be on the car, those are going to be putting shoes on the feet of 3 kids that probably never had shoes in their entire life.